You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please, none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really bout this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, ain't ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got shows, boys feeling like Broadway. Always look both ways, even on a crossway. Driving down Cross Bay, out town Barclays. Really on big things, came up a small way. Championship rings, baby, that's a ball game. Oh, she want a little bag, baby, that's small change. Yeah, that money talk. If we ain't cool, then cut me off. No breaking news, don't run your mouth. Thought it was the plug, now he running off. Thought it was a plug, now he running off. What you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really bout this, don't talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next big thing, the latest up-and-coming sports journalist, your host, Nathan Snell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying safe. This is episode 11, season 16 of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. And in this episode, we are recapping the Baltimore Ravens versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers game 3 of the preseason. Before we get to that, that's a few things I want to say up front. Episodes 12 and 13, those will be recorded. I have those out by tomorrow, tops. Just my initial reaction to both the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders 53-man roster changes. We know those happened Tuesday. As of 4 p.m., they had to make the cut. But I wanted to give my thoughts on the game. I apologize if I couldn't get this out sooner for both videos. Let's just get into it. We lost 26-20. We were on the road. I thought for the most part, I felt like we disappointed in some ways. We allowed 385 yards total offense. That doesn't matter if they were passing the ball, running the ball. That can't happen. Baker Mayfield for 2 drives looked like Baker Mayfield before the injury when he was in Cleveland. He had a 59-yard touchdown. That can't happen. Chris Godwin, there was a couple of times where they were connecting. Baltimore was in a zone, and I would have hoped they made adjustments. Because every time Baker and Chris Godwin connected, our defenders got there too late. Because Baker Mayfield was finding windows before we could even get to make a play on the ball. Didn't see much of a pass rush. Baker Mayfield looked confident in everything. He had 6 passes, 38 yards, a touchdown, no picks, no receptions. He didn't play against the Jets, but 14 to 15 passes, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Hey, that's confidence. He's been playing well, and I'll give him that. For the most part, the receivers on their side all did their job. Everybody stepped up, especially in the aftermath of Russell Gage Jr. suffering a season-ending injury with the preseason joint practice with the Jets. Trey Palmer, 6th-round pick out of Nebraska. He stepped up. He had 2 catches, 25 yards. Raheem Jarrett, Maryland Terrapin. He looked good out there. He actually led the team in receptions with 48 yards on 4 catches. There was another guy, I think his name was David Moore. He was a vet. He had 4 catches for 30 yards. We just did not do a good enough job of stopping them. And I know, just to talk just briefly with Raheem Jarrett, I mean, just one thing I noticed while I'm at Maryland, the yards after the catch ability and the route running, we just had no answers for that. We tried to make the adjustments, but still, it was disappointing. Tampa Bay coming into this preseason game, coming into this season, they had the worst rushing attack last year. Didn't look like that Saturday. Ran for 158 yards on 33 catches. The last time that happened was Jacksonville 2016. And you hope there's a balance in that offense. Ricard White, he had 39 yards, 7 carries. Sean Tucker ran for 34 yards. I hoped that would be that's the spark that gets the offense going. It looks like Chase McLaughlin will be their starting kicker because I know Rodrigo Blankenship was cut. And he had 4 field goals against us. And that happened on Tampa's side. For us, Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown. I don't know what I really want to say on that. I mean, Josh Johnson was 6 of 9 for 95 yards and a touchdown. And Anthony Brown was 12 of 21 for 171 yards, and he had 42 yards on the ground. The one thing I will say is that one of them will make the team. I'll be surprised if both do. And again, I haven't looked. I haven't had a full depth at the rosters. I've just looked at the cuts. I really want to get it. I really want to really study. I'm not even halfway even finished looking at these rosters. I felt like the running back situation was already settled after game 2. Owen Wright, who I think will be on the team, crossing fingers. He had 89 yards and a touchdown, 12 carries, and caught 2 passes. Because again, with J.K. Dobbin, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill, I think Keaton Mitchell did enough to impress the coaches. Melvin Gordon III, he impressed the coaches. So it's going to be interesting. And again, same thing like Washington. Didn't really have the starters out there. I mean, guys like OBJ, Mark Andrews, Bateman, Lamar didn't play. Zay Flowers, he had some time out there, but respectfully didn't play. And I understand because health is key. And I get it, but I need to see what they look like because there's going to be some rust there. I mean, just the defensive side of the ball was key. And don't get me started with Kyle Trask. He killed us. Not killed us, but he led us on. He led Tampa on that 12 play, 94-yard drive, and Jalen Armour Davis. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
I mean, he allowed big plays. Kyrie Kelly, he blew coverage on Chris Godwin. I mean, like, man, I know I could have talked about that earlier, but I mean that doesn't help your case for making the team. It really doesn't. And um, I mean, I don't think this game really changed anything. Um, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, there's some guys that potentially could make the team, and there's some guys that will be. Um, for me, I think I said Josh Johnson, Anthony Brown. Um, Anthony Brown to me is more of a practice, could be on the practice squad because Baltimore, if you pay attention, they're trying to bring in quarterbacks that implement the style of Lamar, hence RG3, hence Tyler Huntley. Um, and I mean, right now Tyler Huntley's hurt, and I'm not going to sit there and say he should be back quarterback number 2. Um, I mean, they could put him on the IR and then resign him if they wanted to. That's about it. I I'm going to say this as well. On the defensive side of the ball, our rookie Trenton Simpson. He stood out to me in this game. Um, he is not ready yet. Yet he's not ready to be out there. This is where same thing. I'll use Quan Martin as an example. There's a lot he needs to soak in and learn. He looked lost, and he hasn't adjusted. And again, and that was kind of the weaknesses coming out of Clemson, because he's a development, he's raw, and I mean, week 2, maybe I'm thinking it's just maybe it's just the what Washington was throwing at us offensively, but he just didn't have it at all. I mean, there was a couple guys that didn't. I mean, Malik Harris and Deshaun Phillips, they played the majority of the game, first half. And then Christian Welsh and Josh Ross played. And we wasn't until, third quarter, we saw him come in. He was the 5th linebacker. So, I mean, really, even Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith played. So, really, he was he was at the bottom. So, he was not ready at all. And it was even announced really, we already knew kind of who the starting left guard was going to be. And Josh Simpson, he played for the Raiders, and he felt like, he was motivated by that. Anve Alu, he's been doing well in OTAs. But I mean, hey, got to give John Simpson credit. He definitely came in there and took care of business. I felt like Amar Velu, he was struggling, really particularly against the backups. I wasn't understanding that. So we'll see how it looks. There's some other guys on the defensive side of the ball that stuck out to me. Travius Robinson, he should make the team. But another thing is too, these injuries, because Tyus Bowser is looking like he won't be back until maybe week 4. So guys like Jeremiah Moon, excuse me. We can probably have him until Tyus comes back. But I mean, he looked pretty good this preseason. There were some mistakes. He's made the right strides. And again, like I said, this was the last opportunity for guys to prove something. And Harbaugh's talked about that. I still think he has all the injuries playing in his head. And, he just doesn't want to see that. If you remember 2 years ago, J.K. Dobbins getting carted off against Washington towards ACL. He just, especially, and I respect it. He preseason series success over. He sacrificed that in preserving the health of his starters, and that's fine. But I think it's going to be expected for all teams to have some type of a brain fart the first couple of weeks. So it's going to be really interesting how these guys who have not played all the preseason, how they look come week one. So that's a big gamble. I know I was hoping he would look okay out there as well. I know I'm still on the defensive side of the ball. David Ojabo, he's been quiet. He's had a very quiet summer. He definitely got more opportunities against Tampa, but he didn't do much. I mean, he played pretty much the entire first half. Only had one tackle. Just in the preseason, 3 games, he's only had 3 tackles. He's only had 2 total tackles. That's it. No sack, no quarterback hits, nothing. I mean, what he's doing is not working. And I would hope this is where Owe and Ojabo will have to develop. That's what Jadeveon Clowney was brought in for, is to help take some of the pressure off of him. And my gosh, I mean, they're going to look to him until Tyus Bowser comes back you got to impose your will on these tackles. You have to. And look, I thought the biggest win I will say is we got to the preseason with no, thank God, major injury. I thought that was really key. Everybody looks ready to go. I mean, other than Marlon Humphrey, who got a procedure on his foot, he's made he's made good progress. I mean, Pepe Williams had ankle surgery. He's supposed to miss the first month or so of the season. But I mean, other than that, there really wasn't much going on. So I thought the battle for – I still think Tyler Huntley's the backup quarterback. Nothing changed, in my personal opinion. I'm looking at a couple other things. Sean Ryan, who I thought had a tremendous game. I don't think I was a little upset he dropped that 21-yard touchdown pass from Anthony Brown, but he should still make the team. If not, he should be on the practice squad. But that was pretty much my thoughts on the game. Disappointing, but this game really, really did show who was going to make the team and who didn't. If I had to give it a grade, I have to give it a B-. And just there's some things, and I'm going to hold off on that until I look at the 53-man roster for both teams. But hey, I'll say the biggest dub, like I said, we got through preseason with no major injuries. There's some guys that really played their ass off. Keaton Mitchell, man, I think he's the preseason rookie MVP. John Simpson definitely won. Tyler Wallace, really, I've seen a big difference. And again, coaching matters, system matters. And man, he just outshined, Laquan Treadwell and those guys really well. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, we finished 1-2 in the preseason, and that's okay. But we will be ready for week 1, ladies and gentlemen. As I forgot to bring up by banner regarding the game. So let's get into the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk podcast, where that is Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're already famous? You can and you will with Zagnif Apparel. Sorry, wrong one.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our
comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
You can and you most certainly will with a nice 15% off your final purchase using my discount code BIGNATE, 15% off. Thank you, Zagnif Apparel, for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the final thought.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
When I look back at these preseason games, this was different this year. Some guys had good games and had bad games, and that's part of what preseason is. But there were some guys I was really hoping to make an impression. And this was kind of the last opportunity to do something. And it didn't do that. The reason why I say that, my point in the final thought is you have to take the opportunities and what's given to you. And I felt like some guys didn't do that. Kerry Kelly, Jalen Armour Davis as examples. But you hope that they're young, and you hope they would take it and learn to be better. It's been an interesting preseason, and like I said, when you guys see the full breakdown, my reaction to the 53-man roster, because I'm gonna have my cuts who I thought should have made the team, who should not have. Because there's a couple that already stood up top of my head, really going back to really game 2. But again, man, from 90 to 53, I don't know how those guys did. That's 37 players that unfortunately will have to get that unfortunate call to the office. And it was a good preseason. I wish for those that made the team, those that didn't, understand that this is not. Take this as a learning opportunity to get better for tomorrow, because there's a waiver period, and I do expect some guys to be moved around the league and be placed on and taken off waivers. So, that's going to be it for the final thought. Be tuned in for the reaction to the 53-man roster. Maryland football is playing Towson, so be tuned in for that preview video as well. And then tomorrow, the Washington Mystics play the Las Vegas Aces, so be tuned in for that. I will be covering their final home game on September 8th as they play the Atlanta Dream, and we get ready for the playoffs. And then before you know it, WNBA season is over. We're going right into college basketball, Maryland women's and men's. So, and then football. So, and then baseball. That's going to be over soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, and subscribe for all future content. Be tuned to future episodes. Thank you so much for taking your time and listening to the Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace. Stay out.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the next big thing, the next up-and-coming sports journalist, Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything.